My name is Neely, and I'm a senior athletic training major at Emory College. And I performed a research study entitled "The Factors of Persistence in the Field of Athletic Training Following Undergraduate Education." Just kind of a brief overview. There seems to be a great amount of information on student retention while they're in the program, but there's a lack of data on persistence after graduation. So after the athletic training students graduate from their respective programs, what do they end up doing? Do they continue on with athletic training, or do they choose to go with another profession? So, and in previous classes, many of the students have gone on with continuing education in many different fields: athletic training, physical therapy, physician's assistant, and occupational therapy. And I'm focusing on the factors leading students to, either stay with the athletic training profession or to move on. So for my study, I sent out a questionnaire. It was 14 questions with both open and closed-ended questions, asking the students about their experience in the athletic training program. I emailed 40 students from the years 2004 to 2014, and 15 of them responded, which I was kind of sad about, but that happens. And then this is just a graph of the participants. 67% of my participants actually graduated within the last 5 years, and many of them actually emailed me directly and said that they took they participated because they knew how it was in the program. And so I was like, oh, okay. That was kind of interesting to me. So I had two hypotheses for the study. My first was that many of the athletic training students will have moved on from the profession due to the time commitment and the salary that's involved with the profession. And then my second is that if the athletic training student came into the program wanting to pursue a profession in athletic training, they will have stayed with the profession. The main factors that I looked at were time commitment, salary, employment opportunities, and clinical placement. As we all know, athletic training is a huge time commitment. I know, you all spend upwards of 50 hours or so each week in the athletic training room, not only, looking at practices and preparing for classes and grading, but also, being there for us when we need you. And then the salary, obviously for the long hours that you work, you're not getting paid enough, and then it's just a lack of pay for everything that goes into what you do. For employment opportunities, one of my respondents noted that they chose physical therapy because there were more opportunities and there was a better job selection with what they were looking to do. And then the last main factor, clinical placement, that was one of the main ones because in our clinical classes we do go off site and we get to see the different areas in which athletic training can be, like you can use athletic training. But also we get to go into the hospital setting and physical therapy clinic setting, and clinical placement was one of the main factors in athletic training students deciding to stay with a major or to move on. So some of my results, 57% of the participants changed what they wanted to do during the athletic training program. Out of the 7 participants that came into the program wanting to pursue a career in athletic training, 5 of them actually changed, and one noted that I chose to change my career because of the exposure I got of the physician assistant profession, and while I love athletic training, PA just seemed more fitting. And kind of exposure to another profession was kind of a recurring theme, and helped athletic training students decide about their future a little bit more. And another one of the participants stated that the clinical experience at the hospital made them realize that they wanted to work in a hospital setting instead of a traditional athletic training setting. So working, not necessarily with athletes, but more in a just more in that hospital setting. So based on this data and the 5 out of the 7 people who came into the program wanting to do athletic training, my second hypothesis wasn't really supported at all. It kind of got shot down real quick. This is a nice, pretty graph of some of the factors that led the participants to change their professional goal. Time commitment, salary, and employment opportunities were, some of the biggest, with 6 people saying time commitment was one of the factors, and then 5 saying salary and employment opportunities were some of the main factors that led them to change their goal. Overall, 9 out of the 15 people in the study changed their professional intention throughout the program. So for future research, a larger population size would be ideal. Possibly, either broadening out the scope of graduation years, or just looking at a school with a larger athletic training program, having just more students to pull data from. And then possibly just resurveying individuals and asking them, more in-depth questions like, why did you choose, that certain factor? Why did that factor play such a big role? And then 2 questions that kind of came up over the course of this study were, what causes athletic training students to choose a level of employment setting after their undergraduate education? So what factors led to them choosing the setting that they wanted to be in? And then another question that came up was, what causes athletic training students to choose the setting they do? So, like a traditional athletic training setting, a hospital setting, in a PT clinic, military setting, what caused them